Thank you very much to the candidates for coming along and being willing to put themselves through this. Some of them enjoy this more than others. And I can understand that. It's not easy being put on the spot like this. So we do thank you for your willingness to do that. I'm just very quickly going to go to James and Imogen, two of our students who actually spent a day last week seeing what it was like to go doorstepping in Jesmond, to see what it was like to be a candidate. Imogen, do you want to just explain a little bit about what you did?
Yeah, so we went out, we sent James out as like a candidate, a councillor candidate, and we went knocking on doors to talk to the residents of Jesmond. So yeah, I'm going to ask James, what exactly did you do on that day?
Well, put on my best suit, and Chris actually bought me a rosette, so we kind of wrote "Vote JesmondLocal" on the rosette, and I went round North and South Jesmond, just knocking on doors, asking people what they thought, what the big issues were, and if they had any particular political leanings. And I suppose the key thing I took away from it is that canvassing is bloody tough, and it's a real testament to the people up there that, you know, you get a lot of people down onto the doors, keep moving, and yeah, it was a really, really tough day, but yeah, enjoyed it a lot.
What were the biggest findings of the day? What were the biggest issues?
Well, yeah, we asked, the key question we were asking was, you know, if you could change anything, what would you change, and what are the things that you think are the biggest issues? And I don't want to, you know, take away from what the candidates are going to tell you tonight, but we had a lot of stuff about parking in Jesmond and the issues around that. Phone signal was a surprisingly big one, actually. A lot of people struggle to get phone signal in their houses, apparently. And we had pavements were an issue. And yeah, we spoke to a couple of local businesses as well, and they said that business rates were a big problem, and a lot of issues around having to deal with the council and paying that kind of stuff. So yeah, quite eye-opening, and I'm sure it'll set us up for an interesting couple of hours now tonight.
Duncan, would you mind just kicking off and telling us just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move down the table that way, just into these microphones.
I have to say, what a relief. I don't have to share a platform with UKIP. I was the Conservative parliamentary candidate for Newcastle East in the last election, and it was a pretty unpleasant experience having to share a platform with UKIP, so I'm glad to be here tonight. A bit about me. I was born in Jesmond. I was born in Princess Mary, which is now a set of high-commuting flats, and I lived in the North Jesmond ward for 22 years in total. And I'm standing for North Jesmond for the Conservatives, and that's me. I won't talk a lot. You can cross-examine me and everything.
Thank you, Duncan. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm Felicity Mendelson. I'm a Labour candidate for South Jesmond ward, and I've been the councillor in South Jesmond since 2012. When I was selected in 2012 to stand, I regarded myself very fortunate. I'd lived in Jesmond most of my life and been a Labour Party member and supporter for almost as long. So to me, that was excellent. I think being a councillor is a valuable and a satisfying role, especially if you work as proactively, which I believe I have done. And I see the role as a link between residents and council services, but not only when things go wrong, to help residents shape the services that exist in the community. And as a council representative, I've worked alongside a lot of community groups, helping them, supporting them, and sometimes just getting in there and doing the work. So I believe that's something that's really valuable as well. I also sit on citywide groups, for example, planning, health, and I feel that's helped in my work in Jesmond too, because I'm much more aware of these citywide issues. For example, health, I'm getting more familiar with that, and as a result of that, we're now working with colleagues on dementia-friendly Jesmond. So I enjoy it, I think it's satisfying, and I'd really like to continue.
Hi everyone, so my name's Stella, I'm the Labour Party candidate for North Jesmond. I live on Brandling Place South, which is in the Brandling village area of Jesmond with my family, and I've lived there since 2010. It's been my family home since then. I love living in Jesmond, and I'm really pleased to be standing as the Labour Party candidate in these elections. I think it's really important that people go out and vote Labour this week in the elections to make a stand against the current Conservative government, who've cut £32 million from Newcastle City Council this year and have plans to cut a further £20 million next year. If elected, I'd work hard alongside other Labour councillors to ensure that we mitigate the worst of these cuts, in particular protecting the vulnerable. Locally, I'd work enthusiastically alongside Councillor Dan Perry to make sure that we continue to see investment in Jesmond, that we support our thriving community groups, and to enact real change to make Jesmond a bit more greener, cleaner, and more family friendly.
I'm Shella Neckby. I've lived in Jesmond for 16 years. I work in a company which provides a social model of care for the vulnerable. I work with charitable groups. I'm also a trained psychotherapist. I don't drive, I walk, I see things, and I feel passionately about this ward, and particularly the needs of this community, which are quite complex. On the surface, it's quite an affluent ward, but yet there are health inequalities and I think aspects around community development that we could really engage with. I'm a member of the Green Party, and it's the first time in my life, quite recently, that I joined a political movement. Because being green for me isn't just about recycling, saving the planet, planting trees. It's about our interconnectedness with each other, and it's about what makes us human. If elected as your councillor, I feel that the Green Party, and particularly your Green councillors, would help look at things like climate change, something that the other parties just aren't talking about. And I'd like to elaborate on that more in the questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt Busby. I'm relatively new to Jesmond. I only moved here a year ago. I'm currently renting on Buston Terrace. I represent the Green Party in South Jesmond. I'm a 19-year-old student at Newcastle University, and I study politics and economics. And I think it's really important that we push for students and young people to be more involved in the community in Jesmond.
Thank you very much. And Jerry.
Hello, I'm Jerry Keating. I'm retired. I spent 33 years teaching at the Royal Grammar School. I've lived in North Jesmond for 16 years. I was a councillor in another part of the city in Blakemore for over 25 years. I've also served on Tyne and Wear County Council. So I've a lot of experience, particularly in things like education, public transport, and so on. I'm a nuts and bolts man with bread and butter issues, and I will spend my time, if elected, or a lot of my time, if elected, just going around the ward trying to fix problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.